Well, hi everyone. I'm John Rethlin, and this is my review of WWE Raw Brooklyn. Go home show for Elimination Chambers. Started great, ended great. How was the rest? Let's find out. We have Heyman and Brock coming out doing their normal shtick. Heyman does say, top to bottom, this is the most stacked WrestleMania card in decades. Heyman is a great hype man and actually can deliver some great promos. As much as a lot of his promos do sound the same, at times he can have gold because he is just that goddamn good. This is not going to be the most stacked WrestleMania card in decades. That's not to say it can't be good. That's not to say there won't be some really good matches on the card. I'm not going to believe it until I see it. And just right now, yes, they have some good hype matches, but let's temper our expectations a little bit here. But whatever. He talks about Drew McIntyre, says Drew's a little bitch. Here comes Drew. He has a stare down with Brock. And then he hits a Claymore kick on Brock that just throws him off balance and everything, knocks him out. He's all stumbling around. He goes to leave after Drew leaves. And the crowd's like, nah, hey, goodbye. And then Drew hits him with another Claymore kick on the stage. And then suddenly the crowd's starting to chant one more time. They're roaring like crazy. He hits another Claymore. Crowd freaking explodes. Goes absolutely ballistic. If Brock does not lose to Drew, if Drew does not leave as champion basically at WrestleMania 36, he's done as a main eventer. That's done 100%. It's not that he's buried, but he ain't going to be as hot as he is right now. Like, they're going to have him beat Brock convincingly and then go on a run at least till Survivor Series. And then you can have somebody beat him for the championship. But you got to do something with him. You got to go with this. Go with the hot hand. And for the love of God, keep Brock away from the championship picture after this. So, this was a goddamn good opening segment. The roar of the crowd was great. Problem is, Brooklyn fans kind of tried to get themselves over a little bit later in the show, but we'll see. So, our first match is the Street Profits versus Murphy and Rollins. It's the Street Profits' last shot at the Raw Tag Team Championships. For reasons I don't fucking know, and okay, I have no goddamn idea. AOP are on the stage. They're just there. They're just standing there and stuff like that. And of course you have the heels jump the baby faces, everything. They're just beating up Street Profits. All this, we go to a commercial break. They're beating up the black people, by the way, because Black History Month is over, and Vince is like, okay, I don't have to push him anymore, pal. Let's do this. A terrible Vince impression. I'm sorry. They have a good back and forth and everything. Of course, at one point, Dawkins does this frickin' tag, this really hot tag, but there's nobody in the goddamn ring. He tags Montez, which was cool. There's nobody in the ring. There's nobody who's going to stop him. It was just kind of hilarious. Maybe somebody missed their spot. I don't know. At one point, Rollins goes for a move. He's going to buckle bomb Montez forward, and Murphy's going to kick him. Well, the problem is Murphy, is ready for the kick. And and Montez rolls through, and Rollins is coming to the corner. He gets, flipped through in a hurricanrana, and Murphy still kicks him. So it's like, this wasn't well timed. This was a very sloppy match at times, which is funny considering the guys involved and how they both are pretty good teams. Street Profits are a lot better because, they're an actual tag team. And then, so AOP is distracting the ref. They're getting kicked out, but they're like, no. And wait, we're trying to tell you. Kevin Owens comes from behind. Seth Rollins hits him with a stunner. Huge splash from Montez Ford. 1, 2, 3. New tag team champions. Okay, cool. Can't wait till they lose him back at the pay-per-view. Well, they probably won't. Actually, Owens will probably interfere in that one, too. And it'll probably be Owens versus Rollins at WrestleMania. Maybe. I'm not sure. Or they'll just have a multi-man match. I'm not sure what they're going to fucking do, but it's just, don't hot potato the tag titles, but it's like everybody's all excited and everything. It's like, look, I like Street Profits. I mean, I'm kind of over them because their humor just isn't all that. To me, it's gotten annoying, but it is what it is. They amuse enough people, but with this, I'm not going to buy into tag team wrestling on Raw being, in a renaissance, because the Viking Raiders won and then proceeded to do absolutely nothing with the belts, and the belts haven't really meant anything for a couple of years. So let's see. Street Profits are talented enough to make it work, but we know Vince doesn't like tag team wrestling. Whether he's taking a backseat or not, it's still his company. So, of course, Lawler at one point says, the Street Profits have stolen the tag titles. Would you have said that about them if they weren't black, Lawler? We know Lawler's a racist son of a bitch and a bit of a pedo dumb fuck, so let's not be too surprised. People like Booker T can't be champion, and I don't care scripted or not. He went a little too hard on that, and I don't care if it's 2003. He hasn't changed how he feels. And by the way, Jerry Lawler should not be allowed on commentary in 2020. Now, if that's a USA Network call, USA Network's full of a bunch of goddamn idiots. Having an old school voice is one thing. Lawler does not want to be there. It's clearly obvious he's dragging down the commentary team. Tom and Byron sound visibly annoyed. I don't know how you can sound visibly annoyed, but they do. They've managed to pull that off. So then we get Rollins backstage, and he kind of, goes after Charlie, not that way, and says, oh, Chuck here with the scoop, and, with the line of the century. And Rollins wants a rematch for the tag titles at the Elimination Chamber. He wants eradications and crucifixions. He's really going with this whole Messiah thing. Riddick Moss versus Ricochet, 24/7 championship match. Crowd's chanting, who are you, at Riddick Moss, who is not a bad athlete, but to be fair, we have been given no reason to care about Riddick Moss. We weren't really given a reason to care about him in NXT either, but I digress on that. Look, Ricochet went from competing for the WWE Championship, not getting a shot in Brock at all in Saudi Arabia. Now he's competing for the 24/7 Championship. Why is that title still a thing? Why? Why is this title still a thing? Please let me know. Please tell me. I don't fucking know why. Does anybody know why? Yes, the USA Network apparently wanted this. Like, that's the rumor. They wanted this to pump up the ratings, proving that maybe they are run by idiots, because this title was a goddamn bad idea at first and has only gotten worse. And there are some people that found it amusing. That's fine. I'm not saying you can't, but this title's goddamn ridiculous. Like, now you're going to treat it as something serious? You should have never started in the first place. Moss beats Ricochet. I'm not going to say that Ricochet is buried, but I'm just going to say, as far as anything like of him being taken seriously, it's torpedoed for now. Ricochet is very good in the ring. No, he can't cut promos. Sure, you could have him have a manager, MVP or somebody. People were suggesting that. Yes, managers need to make a comeback, but the problem is if you have somebody as talented as Ricochet, utilize him properly. Bring back managers. Bring back some stuff like that. But it's just, his ceiling is mid-card. He's not going to be getting world title shots, and you know why? Because he isn't seen as anything beyond a mid-card guy. And I'm not going to say, should he go to AEW? Nah, I'm not going to say that. I don't know if he'd really do much better there. Also because that company is still developing. I think he should go back to New Japan if his deal's up anytime soon. But if he's happy there, whatever. I just hate to see it, because Ricochet is incredibly talented. Sure, he's not great on promos, but there's a lot of people that aren't great on promos. Corbin, and and Vince still feels like pushing him. But anyway, it's just dumb. It's just fucking dumb. He's toast. At least for now. It's fucking anybody that's saying, oh, he's buried for good. I mean, it's easy to see that if this is a losing streak storyline, by the way, those are dumb. They never get anybody over. And because once they win, then creative forgets about them. They did it with MVP, and MVP knows something about losing streaks. Maybe they'll bring that up in the storyline if they have him be a manager. But it's dumb. It's just dumb, and especially Riddick Moss. Nobody gives a shit about Riddick Moss. I don't know if Riddick Moss gives a shit about Riddick Moss. That's needlessly mean towards him. And then we get an AJ Styles promo. He talks about Undertaker in Saudi Arabia being denied that trophy, the Aggro Crag trophy. Why was Mark Wahlberg there besides to promote a new movie on Netflix? And he's like, oh, well, you should, you should run away from the Undertaker, this kind of stuff. The crowd was chanting Marky Mark. And then Lawler, of course, says, I think, these celebrities need to stay out of wrestling and politics. Says the fucking Trump supporter, which is no shock that a guy that likes young girls is a Trump supporter. Let me just get on my soapbox really quickly. If you don't like it, fine. I don't really care if you want to have this. But Lawler, I'm not saying that he deserves threats towards him at all, because he doesn't. I actually did a video about that a number of years ago, because people were doing that. But he should be, he should, of course, be absolutely criticized for it, because he's a terrible human being anyway. He has gotten away with a lot of shit, and no matter how much history he has in wrestling, he was a regional star at best. That's all he ever was. That's all he could ever be. And he wasn't anybody, that could be seen, as a national star on a big platform. When he got, sure, Memphis was big for what it was, but just my point about Lawler, he's trying to say something like that. A guy who's, supporting somebody that's a goddamn crook and a goddamn toxic piece of shit. So there, I'm off my goddamn soapbox. If any of you are still here, and if any of you were offended by that, I don't care. I don't fucking care anymore. Gloves are off. Anyway, so Karl Anderson versus Alistair Black. Basically, AJ Styles was going to face Alistair Black, but says, no, you got to go through Karl Anderson. And then later, Luke Gallows. Match Karl Anderson was fine. We kept having the interference spots. Black mass. Anderson sold it well for 3. And then Gallows attacks. Then we get another match. And then it's a DQ finish. And everybody's beating up on Alistair. Well, I mean, the three members of the Oxy. And then suddenly Styles says, I'm ready for the match. And even though Alistair tries, AJ eventually beats him, hits phenomenal forearm, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I get what they were trying to do. The problem is this, if this is just leading to Styles facing Undertaker, that's not going to be good. Here's an idea. Somebody threw this out here, and I don't remember who it was. Taker, Alistair, and Kane versus versus Styles, Gallows, and Anderson. Why not? Lighten the workload on everybody, and you get enough people on the card. You get a Mania moment. Ain't gonna be good, but it would be better than having Alistair in the battle royal, and Taker versus Styles, which is not gonna be good. I'm sorry, it's not gonna be. Styles is good, but he's not a miracle worker. Taker is in incredible shape for 55, but he's not. But he's goddamn washed. So anyway, we then get Ruby talking about loyalty, talking about, I guess, putting Liv in her place. We get Ruby versus Liv with Sarah Logan as the ref. This was a mess. I get what they were trying to do, and I mean, well, I respect 2 of these women, and Sarah, well, I mean, Sarah's kind of on my shit list for a few reasons, but whatever. She was just casting this role here, but it wasn't good. They tried, and both these women are talented enough, and they did a ref distraction thing. Well, Ruby got sent into Sarah, and, big old schmoz, and then suddenly Liv hits the dreaded roll-up, the most devastating maneuver in all of professional wrestling, 1, 2, 3, and a fast count. And then we get the Goldberg Instagram post where he won the Universal Championship, which is apparently so well-liked. It's WWE's most well-liked Instagram post. That is a sad state of affairs or a sad, indictment of what's going on with WWE's Instagram and social media in general. That, nope, not Roman Reigns beating cancer, not Edge returning to the ring, not whatever. Goldberg, a 53-year-old guy winning the Universal Championship, who is a nice guy but should not be a champion because he's a part-timer. No way, Jose and the conga line, they want to see what's in Rowan's cage. They're backstage. Okay, here we go. This is what's in the cage. This is what the big reveal is. And it was obviously a popcorn fart because you want to see what's in there? You want to see what's in there? It was a giant stuffed spider. That was a little mechanical. You ever see the giant spider invasion? MST3K? That's what it was. That's what it fucking was. That's it. I mean, it was a condensed version of that. Obviously, it was not a Volkswagen Beetle with pipe cleaners for legs. Don't ask. Watch the movie. But I just kept thinking, well, giant spider. At least the Packers won the Super Bowl. And if you get that line, that means you've seen the episode. Seriously, Rowan is one of the least interesting people they have on the roster. And even the most interesting person could not make this work. Nobody could make this work. If that isn't a fake out, I mean, I don't care what's in the cage anyway, but I'm like, if that's what the big reveal is going to be, like the Mae Young hand incident, this is actually just as bad as that. Because that was at least 20-something years ago, about 20 years ago. And this is, where the writers should know better, but Vince finds that stuff funny because he's like, he'll just keep insulting the fans and then wonder why they're running off, but think he can sit on his pile of money and fans will come back. Some fans are coming back. Only hardcore fans like me are sticking around. So, a stuffed spider. And you know what? Rowan probably could have stored in his goddamn beard. This was dumb. I also don't understand how No Way Jose is still being featured on Raw. And even though I like him, that gimmick was dead on arrival when it started on Raw. We need to have a refresh on him. Much as I like seeing some of the girls in the conga line. But anyway, we then get Kairi and Asuka out there. Asuka has a sprained wrist and cannot compete against Shayna. Kairi's laugh is adorable. Goddamn adorable. And they seem like they were having fun. Asuka says Kairi is hungry for Shayna. Phrasing. Anyway, Shayna versus Shayna. I can't even do this stuff anymore. Ankle focus by Shayna as Sane tried to come back and everything. I'm not Shayna's biggest fan. I'm going to say that right here. I don't mind her matches. At times they can be very slow paced. She does work a deliberate style. At times it works, at times it doesn't. This match with Sane actually was better than it would have been had they put her in with Natty. And I love Natty, but build it up a bit and her and Natty could actually have something pretty good for 10 to 12 minutes on TV. Sane and Shayna have history from the Mae Young Classic and then from Evolution, when Duke and Shafir debuted. That was a great idea. Tweedledee and Tweedledum shit. So, anyway, that's needlessly mean. I'm sure they're nice women, but they just can't fucking wrestle. So, yeah, we get Becky in an open robe showing up all of a sudden. And, she puts on King's crown because she's, one, trolling King, which Lawler deserves to be trolled. By women that are too old for him because Becky's in her 30s and not still in high school. And then also the Conor McGregor thing. Becky's so full of herself and everything. She's like, I don't even need to worry. I'm going to scout Shayna, but I don't care who wins this Elimination Chamber. Have it be all 6 women that win the Elimination Chamber, and then we do a 7-pack challenge. I know that's not how that works, but Becky was just, doing a troll thing. It's ridiculous, but the idea is to get you to hate Becky so that when Becky loses, because she gets overconfident, then they can, refresh her character a little bit. Crowd was chanting, this is boring. I'm not going to say that the match was great, but this is boring. I mean, you guys have the Nets to cheer for, so obviously you don't really have a high bar of sports athleticism to judge by. You really don't. Nets suck, by the way. So, Shayna taps out Kairi Sane to Terufuda clutch, and then Ray and Humberto have promos. Hey, Ray, you should have Humberto be your adopted son because your real son can't cut promos at all. Why do I hate Dominic so much? I don't hate him. He just sucks at promos. My God, I am terrible. Let me try and get in front of 20 million people on TV and talk. Now I'll just talk on YouTube here. I'm not the son of a famous wrestler. But anyway, we then get Humberto and Ray versus Andrade and Garza with Selena Vega as the flippy shit, given a lot of time. Very good match. I'm not going to try to recall all the spots, but this is very, very good stuff. I swear the crowd chanted, thank you, Charlotte, at one point. I think about Andrade. I'm not really so sure. I thought I heard it, but it was hard to understand the crowd, mainly because I was tuning them out because they were getting kind of annoying. But anyway, this is pretty good. Pretty good stuff. And the moonsault pinned Andrade. Humberto pinned Andrade, so no doubt we're going to maybe have that match for the U.S. title on the pre-show. Or at Elimination Chamber, and Humberto wins it, and it's so little fanfare because nobody will care. As good as Humberto and Andrade are. So, we then get Alistair versus AJ Styles Elimination Chamber, the tag team rematch, and I don't remember what else got announced. And a medical update on Edge. Beth Phoenix is there, and then suddenly Randy Orton comes down, and he one RKO chance. My God, the Lita chance. You guys can fuck off, you drunk goddamn morons. I mean, good Lord. I'm all for having fun. The RKO chants were great. I mean, they were, because we all knew it was coming. We all knew Orton was going to come from out of nowhere. Have fun unseeing that all over another man's wife. Gross. So, Orton recounts the history all the way from back in 1999, and Edge saying, hey kid, if you can get good at wrestling, if you can get into this and get good at wrestling, maybe we can have some matches. And you talk about the matches for the Intercontinental Championship in 2004, main eventing pay-per-views, except they didn't main event a pay-per-view with the Intercontinental Championship. They had a really good one at Vengeance 2004, but I don't recall them main eventing the pay-per-view. I mean, I may be crazy, but I don't think they did. But, I mean, I am crazy. But he's recounting the history and all that and everything and talking about why he did to Edge what he did. He says because he loves Edge, he loves Beth, he loves, their girls. He wanted Edge to be back there because Edge may have gotten healthy for him, but he's a junkie. He's not addicted to beer or pills. He's addicted to the roar of the crowd and the adulation of the crowd. He's addicted to the ring. Beth did nothing to stop him. I encourage you guys to check out this promo because it's the best Orton promo I've heard in a good long while. This is the most fired up and the most interested I've been in Orton for a while, so I can't wait to be bored by Orton by next week. So, this was great shit, though. This was actually really good. This was really, really good. And then the crowd was chanting bullshit after he said, I love your girls. That was bullshit. And then Beth is all upset. She slaps Orton. Well, you shouldn't have done that. You met with a terrible fate, haven't you? And boom, RKO. And there we go. RKO to Beth. And then Orton leaves. And then we got Natty, Ray, Truth, Hawkins, and Ryder coming out to help Beth, who has survived childbirth a couple times, has dealt with an incredible amount of pain from bumps in the ring, but survived childbirth, which is the most painful thing a woman can go through. And honestly, I think one RKO she'd be good. Yes, they're selling it well, that Orton's really devastating, but I mean, whatever. It is what it is. And also, Beth is, I mean, she's not as tall as Randy, but as far as body type, she's pretty damn built too. But it is what it is. They're trying to put Orton over as a killer. And so everybody's out there helping Beth. Where was everybody out to help Matt Hardy before he left? I mean, that's just what kind of makes me laugh. But this was a great end. It was a great beginning and great end. There was that, great tag match with Ray, Humberto, Garza, and Andrade. The Sane Shayna match wasn't that bad. There was some good stuff in it, but it was overall pretty messy. However, I'm going to surprise people. I'm going to give it a B-. I'm going to give it a B- for the strengths of the show. But I'm not going to lie to you, I was almost ready to go to a C, but I was like, the more I thought about it, it actually had some good stuff. So anyway, agree, disagree with what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.